Hello, DevOps friends. Welcome to Full Stack Live. I'm Jochen, the Monospace Mentor. Greetings. Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to another live coding stream. Today, I have quite a diverse list on my agenda, ranging from setting up a Borg backup server to building a static website using Bridgetown. And that's also what I'm going to start with. And yes, so if you haven't been around on Friday, when I did my last office hour live stream, my latest office hour live stream, I've rebranded my teaching business from Obsitive to Monospace Mentor for reasons that I've outlined on my blog, which you can find at monospacementor.com. And this website is actually what I'm going to work on today, because I'd like to extend this website, and I'd like to add an overview of my talks, not only as a list, but also including the slides, which I'm also going to use when I'm doing future talks, as well as my videos, where I'd like to have a teleprompter scroll for the narration. And I've already built both with a separate website, but now I want to integrate that into my main website, which I've built using the static site generator bridgetown.rb. It's a Ruby-based static site generator, more or less kind of a successor to the well-known Jekyll. And I decided to use that for my teaching website, and we'll see how easy it'll make it for me to add talks as a new content collection combined with slide decks based on reveal.js and a teleprompter scroll that I've built myself both in CSS and in JavaScript. And the most difficult challenge will probably be integrating this teleprompter CSS and JavaScript into the website, simply because I'm not really well versed using JavaScript bundling with ESBuild. So this might be a little bit of a convoluted journey, but I hope it'll get us to the goal in the end. And here's another alert coming in, but I hope that's going to be transient, and I'll have to have a look on that, an eye on that. Let me see if I got any emails about it. No, I didn't. Few things I need to do here behind the scenes, some housekeeping. One of these is tick off this task. That's done. Then go ahead to my on-call tabs. Let's check if this is still around. It is. Bot has been accepted. It's just a cloud instance that's down, and that's sometimes the case that a cloud host needs to be rebooted, and then it'll come back online automatically. So I'm not going to do much for the first few minutes here. Derailed already. I haven't yet started, and we are already derailed. How is that? I also can't type in this input field. This is all annoying. Maybe if I reload that, that doesn't seem to work either. That's all very strange. Let's get this back. Okay. Guess that needed to be reinitialized. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so I would say let's get started with part one, getting my talks done. How am I going to play this? I think I need to... Yeah, I need to first commit my local work here. So that I can then actually pull it into my stream VM here. Okay, so let's go into... I think I still have the old name on this repository here, so let's check that. Yeah, let's move Obsitive to Monospace. And inside Monospace, I haven't even cloned the website yet. That's convenient, I guess, because I can go right ahead and clone that from my GitLab instance. There should be... Oh, I'm not signed in, so these are only the public websites. Okay. Let's take care of that quickly. Oh, the secret overlays not... Okay, that's better. Okay, now we can actually clone the website repository. I can't forget that a freshly made coffee. Oh, So nice. Good beans, freshly ground. Okay. And since we've just cloned it, it already uses the Monospace Mentor group on GitLab. That's awesome. So let me use my TAT script to open up a tmux session for that, which is basically Monospace Mentor. Monospace website. There we go. And in window 1, I usually have the editor open. So let's also rename that to edit. Window 2 is the shell, where I'm running my commands. For example, bundle install. And we don't have Ruby 3.1.4 installed. Let's do that then. 3.1.4. Shouldn't take too long. While this is running, a reminder, let's make this show interactive. So if there's anything that you would like to share, if there's anything that you'd like to ask, simply post it in chat. Maybe I should assign a few more cores to this VM if I do things like that. Or I could create a VM with more resources on my home lab server. That's also an option. I wouldn't have the graphical user interface, but I could use my own, my local one on my workstation. I might actually migrate to the home server and then simply use it via SSH. On the other hand, my workstation is bored, so I guess adding more cores is also definitely an option. Actually, while this is running, I'll do that in the background. Can I reconfigure that while it's running? I suppose not. Here. CPUs. Ooh, I have 8 vCPUs allocated here. Well, that should be enough. Okay, let's go back to the console. So how does BTOP look like? Yeah, I do have 8 CPUs. Okay. So that should be sufficient to install the occasional Ruby version. Okay, that's that, and let's do a bundle install as well. That should enable us to actually run this. And we'll have to switch to the talks branch. And that should enable us to run Bridgetown start. Runtime error. Do we have to run yon install? what did actually fail? It looks like a yarn did for some reason not work correctly. Let's see. Yeah, maybe I should have run bin setup first. That looks much cleaner. Now let's go here. Let's take a look at localhost 4000. That's my website, and there's the new heading for talks. And so how this works is this page pulls in what's called a collection in Bridgetown. So under the source directory, there are, among other things, the collections. The standard collection is posts, where you simply put your blog posts, and that gets pulled in by Bridgetown automatically. But I've also added a few more collections, and you can see them here in my configuration. The first collection is talks. So the convention here is that under source you have a subdirectory for the collection that has the name of the collection prefixed with an underscore. So there is the underscore talks collection, where you can put markdown files as well. And here we have this short markdown file that simply explains that this talk is the introduction video for the Linux Master Course, which you can actually check out at linuxmastercourse.com. And then there are two more collections named Video Script and Slide Deck. And they have relations which connect them between each other. A talk has one video script and one slide deck, and in turn the video script belongs to a talk and the slide deck belongs to a talk as well. And that allows me to access information about these relations from pages that render one of them. So in my layout let's go to the talks page actually, which is the overview page. Here I can iterate over the talks collection. That's this front matter here, paginate collection talks. And that allows me to iterate over this paginator, which will then iterate over the talks. And I'll render the date of the talk. I'll render the title of the talk, which we're using, since I copy and pasted that, we're using post as the iteration variable, which is not ideal. Let's rename that to talk. So we'll have to use talk here. Let's actually get this and rename them all to talk. As you can see, I'm rendering the date, I'm rendering the title of the talk. Why did I miss? Oh, I missed the G. That's why the second occurrence of this post variable didn't get replaced. I'll render this title, and the title is a hyperlink to the talk's relative URL. And the whole div is that to... I had an href, I guess, and then I turned that into a div. Not sure why I did that. I guess we'll turn that into an A again, and that means I can render the title alone. So this whole div, whatever it'll contain, will be a hyperlink. I could even make this whole article element a link. I think that makes more sense in terms of actually hitting a link target. So let's do exactly that. Can actually wrap that, right? Let's do a surround this whole tag with a href tag. Oh, that was one level off. So we'll use this relative URL as our something's not right. Something got jumbled up here. Let's revert this. Okay, maybe let's do it less fancy. We'll have a href here. Which will close here. I'll take this link and put it here. Which means I can make this a div. Which of course doesn't need a href. Okay, that looks better. Why is there an A down here? That went astray too, right? Okay, let's take a look at how this looks. Okay. Now this whole card is a link. Okay. And if I click, I'll get to the actual entry with the description. This is the introduction video for my Linux Master course, blah, blah, blah. And since a talk can have these resources, namely a slide deck and a teleprompter scroll or script, I can render these as list elements too. So let's take a look at how this works. In my collection, this talk gets what's called a slug, and that's the name after the date. So in this case, LMC-intro is the slug for this collection item, and I can reference that from a slide deck, which I have here, simply by adding this front matter talks, and then the slug for the original talk, to which it is related. which also allows me to use this slide deck for multiple talks, and they'll get linked without having to duplicate them. And the same goes for the video script. I have one here, and that references the same talk. And that means both get listed here under the resources. If I go into resources and click slide deck, it opens up the slide deck. It gets rendered automatically using reveal.js. And what I'm now going to work on is the teleprompter script, because that currently doesn't get rendered with CSS, and it's also missing the necessary JavaScript to actually make this teleprompter text scroll. That's what I'm going to work on today. So far, so good. So let's take a look at how things are wired up right now. I have put my teleprompter CSS into the front-end styles directory, where it doesn't yet get bundled. The index CSS gets bundled because that is part of the ESBuild configuration. But this teleprompter CSS doesn't, and I haven't even copied in the JavaScript yet. Let's solve one thing after another. So let's take a look at how we can actually apply the teleprompter CSS to our teleprompter layout, which is stored in this template file here, teleprompter.erb. It's pretty minimal because it doesn't need much apart from the style sheet. And so far I used the asset path helper here, but that doesn't actually work because teleprompter CSS doesn't get included. It would be included if I imported it in this index.css, but that would make it part of the site CSS, which I don't want. I want to apply this CSS to only pages that use the teleprompter layout, and I'll have to find out how this actually works. So let's go to the bridgetownrb.com website and the documentation, and here's the front-end bundling page where I need to find out how this actually works. Let's go to CSS. By default, Bridgetown comes with support for post CSS, and that's what I'm using. I haven't enabled Sass, which means I need to modify my teleprompter CSS file anyway, because that is actually using Sass. But I don't want to enable that for the whole website, and it's not too complicated. It's mostly black background, white font, really, really big in the middle of the screen, so you'll see that the CSS isn't too complicated. So let's not linger here. Linking to the output bundles. Of course I can use the asset path CSS here. That's the default. But how do I actually include a second file? Is that an entry point? I have no idea about this whole bundling story here. I'm definitely not up to date with these front-end techniques. So let's find out. What can I read from my source code so far? If I go into the ESBuild configuration, which is in esbuild.config.js, the output folder is output. Oh, there isn't much. ESBuild options is empty, and it simply builds into the output folder. Interesting. There's really not much in there. Oh, I can use the ESBuild copy to get assets from somewhere into my output folder. That would be one way to do it. Ah, I see. It includes the config ESBuild defaults. And in here we have a little bit more information. Maybe I should have a look at PostCSS then. Here's an entry point, and that's front-end JavaScript index.js. I could add another entry point, say front-end JavaScript teleprompter.js, where I can actually have my JavaScript that I need for the teleprompter and the teleprompter CSS. And I'm not sure how I would then access that, to be honest. That everything of that at the moment goes into the output folder, which is named output _ Bridgetown static. How does this look like at the moment? Output Bridgetown static. That's where we get .css and .js files. So what's the difference between these? Index, Q, CSS. That's the index CSS file. And then there's the UFJ one. Ah, that's the same one basically. Okay. Let's take another look at the bundling docs here. Linking to the output bundles. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'll use a specific class for my whole teleprompter setup, and then I'll include that in my index.css. But first, maybe I can learn something quickly about ESBuild. For example, an introduction to the ESBuild bundler. ESBuild bundles JavaScript code, bundles CSS code into a single file. So if I want to bundle everything, then I'll have to basically namespace my teleprompter CSS. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Can also go to the documentation in the background. Let's focus on CSS if that's possible. More coffee. The entry source CSS main CSS file imports variable CSS and element CSS from the partial zip folder. So that gets bundled as well, I guess. Okay. That's fine. Let's try... Oops, that's really small. Entry names. This option controls the file names of the output files corresponding to each input entry point file. Okay. Maybe we can actually find something if we do ESBuild separate page CSS, something like that. There is a how to manage CSS with ESBuild. Not sure if it'll help. Nope, that definitely didn't help. CSS modules. I'm simply not familiar enough how these front-end bundling things think, the philosophy behind them, to actually formulate an effective search query here. Is it a good... I'm not sure if that actually even touches the EOS build. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay. Let's take a different approach and actually import teleprompter here. That might actually break our website. Doesn't seem like it did. Okay. So let's see. We don't have to reset everything, do we? No, I don't think we need to. I think we can actually. So how is this actually set up? We need to make this class teleprompter. I could use the main div here. That way we don't need to use this again. And we can actually say dot teleprompter main. What if we use asset path teleprompter? No, that can't be the case. So let's use asset path CSS again. I think it's better to restart Bridgetown. Okay. So did that even get included in our bundle? No, it did not. That's because I think we need to make this a string. And use something like a path. Now we have the index wni.css. Still not in there. So I'm doing something wrong in terms of the bundling here. You can add additional style sheets and import them into index.css. That's what I'm trying. Now we have index.va something something.css. Still doesn't work. I'm missing the extension. Yeah, I can't rely on that. Now it's index.z7. Still not included in there. So it does include the just-in-time refresh.css. That's part of a bundle. That's in here, right? No idea where that comes from. If I knew where to start with this... Multiple entry points. You can specify multiple entry points, which result in multiple output bundles by using a custom entry points config. So I could actually bundle this differently. And then I would say asset path, JavaScript pages, contact form JS. Okay. I would like that. I must have overlooked that before. Okay. Let's try that. Let's try that. I'll have to copy the CSS file over again because I've modified it. Or I could simply check it out, right? Front-end styles teleprompter. That should give me my original teleprompter back with CSS reset and everything. Don't need the front meta here. And then let's go into my ESBuild configuration. And I'll simply we already have the ESBuild options down here. So I could wait. So we'll do what exactly? Define the entry points directly. Entry points. That's an array. So that's front-end JavaScript index.js, as usual. And we'll have to add another front-end JavaScript teleprompter.js. Format ESM, I guess. I would assume that if I use this, we'll get an error because it can't get the teleprompter.js. Yep. Alright. So let's provide it one. We have this index.js. Where we'll import the teleprompter CSS. Will we need Alpine? Yeah, I guess. Let's add this to the console output so I can actually distinguish those two. Let's check again. Here we import index CSS, and then in the other one we'll import teleprompter CSS. Let's see if that works. Still a runtime error. Entry point frontend JavaScript index.js cannot be marked as external. Okay, and that applies to both of them. So I guess this is not correct. Let's see, how does the defaults look like? Here we have entry points frontend JavaScript index.js. And we'll concatenate ESBuild options here. What happens if I take this out? Still get a runtime error, this time only for teleprompter.js. Cannot be marked as external. Can I find something about that? ESBuild cannot be marked as external. Alex4TMM. Hi there, Division by Zero. Welcome to the stack. Hello, folks. I'm struggling with JavaScript, with modern JavaScript techniques like this ESBuild setup that I'm confronted with in my Bridgetown static website, where I would like to have an additional CSS file that I can use as an alternative to the default page layout. And I have no idea how this all works. This is all arcane magic to me. But I guess the approach that I'm taking, which is based on the documentation actually, doesn't seem to work. Here's the ESBuild config.js. Const ESBuild options. Do we have that? Yes, we do. Const ESBuild options. Entry points, colon, array, frontend JavaScript index.js, frontend JavaScript pages, contact form.js. By also adding format ESM, you gain the ability to import code from new entry points directly inside of type module script in your HTML. Okay. I don't think I'll need that at this time at least. Maybe I'll leave that off? Will that change anything? Nope. Cannot be marked as external. Do we use ./frontend? I think there's the issue. I missed these dots. Wait, let's put the ESM back again, if that is actually valid. Okay. Let's try again. And this time it almost works, but my CSS is broken because it uses Sass. Okay, Exegete, welcome to the stack. Good to have you here. Watch me struggle with modern JavaScript techniques. But I think I've actually managed to resolve this one. Let's take a look at the resulting bundle. So if I go into output, Bridgetown, static, now we have a teleprompter.css. Let's take a look at the teleprompter k something. Nope, that's a JavaScript file. Teleprompter. This one here. Yeah, that's the original CSS. Nice. Yeah, trying to wrap my head around Bridgetown and its intricacies. I mean, I did choose Bridgetown because it uses more modern approaches like, for example, ESBuild and all these things. But since I don't have any idea how all this modern JavaScript and CSS bundling works, it even blows my mind that I go into JavaScript where I then say import teleprompter.css. That is arcane magic to me. But well, it seems to work. So what we need to do is fix our CSS. It's not Sass anymore, so this reset is valid, but my own stuff down here isn't. I've copied that from a Jekyll website where I was able to use Sass, so I'm using these nested things here, and so we need to change that. We need to actually switch that off. I guess that's the teleprompter main section. Let's make sure that's actually the case. That's the ID teleprompter. Where's my teleprompter layout? It's down here. It's not too complicated, but now I need to use the asset path teleprompter, I guess. What does the documentation say? Asset path, JavaScript, and then teleprompter.js. And I guess the same goes for... Wait, let's go into the default. Nope, that's in the header partial, or head partial. We have both the style sheet here and the JavaScript script. So let's go and go into here. And say we won't use asset path CSS, it's asset path teleprompter. That I don't actually know how this works. And asset path JS. Let's try and reload Bridgetown. No, that definitely does not work. Front-end bundling started. Front-end styles, teleprompter CSS, unexpected. Okay, yeah, okay. We need to fix our CSS first before we try to integrate that. Yes, that's what I figured. That yeah, this bundling thing bundles everything in one. Well, it's actually not one file, is it? It's a CSS file and a JavaScript file. So this whole bundling thing still keeps stuff separated, but the way it gets fed into this whole machine is different. So we have a closing thingy here. Those need to be made level 1. So that's the teleprompter thingy, and that's... Have I made that into a main section yet? Yes, but it's not... And I guess we can leave body as is, because now we have separate CSS, so we can style body directly. We could even style main directly. In that case, I wouldn't even need the specific classes. Let's see if that works. So we have body, and instead of the teleprompter ID, I'll simply use main. That's my main thingy. And then we have the headings, code, and I guess that's main WebKit scroll bar. We won't display that. Okay, that CSS seems like it would actually compile. Let's see if Bridgetown is happy about this. Nope, it's not. There's something about the... okay. we need to use different comment styles. And then there's an expected colon in 83. No idea why. Okay. That should be pretty quick. So we'll make that proper CSS comments. This one is already proper. We need to change that. And then what's with, oh, this li is actually included in here, but since it's empty I can just remove that. Let's see, Bridgetown, what do you say? Now, did my CSS get included correctly? Let's take a look at output. That goes into video script. Let's see. We got a missing ears build asset. So let's try a different approach here. It's obviously not teleprompter something. I guess it's JavaScript. Oh, I guess we'll have to use styles. Teleprompter CSS, I guess. And for the JavaScript, it's, well, yeah, JavaScript. Teleprompter.js. And if we bundle that, there are only 3 entry points here. Strangely enough, there's no teleprompter.something.css. We'll have to investigate that, but let's see how this looks now. It did include the JavaScript, Bridgetown static teleprompter something.js, and it did also, oh, it didn't regenerate the CSS probably, slash Bridgetown static teleprompter such and such CSS. Let's take a look at that. So we'll have to use this path. And take a look at output. And here's our teleprompter CSS. Body, background black, and so on and so on. That does look promising. How about we reload this page? Ah, that's amazing. So we have our styling in place. Just in case you've joined recently, I'm adding support for talks to my website, which has been relaunched as monospacementor.com. And additionally to my existing content, mainly the blog, I'd like to add talks to this website and not only have a post about this talk. For example, here I have this kind of a post. This is the introduction video for Linux Master Course, my community course for Linux system administrators, which you, by the way, can find at linuxmastercourse.com. And I'm automatically relating resources to this entry. If there is a slide deck, it gets linked here, and if there's a teleprompter script, it gets linked here too. And they'll have to be rendered either as a slide deck, which uses reveal.js. Everything is based on Markdown, but the slides get rendered by reveal.js. And the teleprompter scripts, if I close this tab and reopen it here, then I'm getting the teleprompter script that I can actually use to record the video. And afterwards, I want to be able to publish that on my website, so people have either can see how the magic is done, or or use it as a transcript actually. So we're almost there. What I'd like to do is add JavaScript to this teleprompter script, so I can actually have it auto-scroll. And that's going to be interesting, because now I have to I have to learn how to integrate JavaScript into this whole asset pipeline. But we have come quite far already, so I guess I can tell that everything is going to happen in this teleprompter.js. And question is, how did I build the original JavaScript in the first place? So I guess, do I read this in here? Yeah, why not? Read from my talks repository. How many levels do I have to go up? Very strange. Well, let's open it up directly. Oh, I haven't checked it out on this machine, that's why. How do I get it? I can copy that from my workstation, I guess. XG does. Have you seen the new Elgato teleprompter? I have. If I didn't have a teleprompter already, I would consider getting one from Elgato, because it makes things so much easier. It has all the stuff from Elgato does. You'll get the teleprompter, and you get, ideally, I guess, their webcam, and the teleprompter comes already with a monitor built in, so everything fits, which is a problem that I had at first. I bought a teleprompter and a 10-inch display, and then I had to realize that the bezel of that 10-inch display is just a few millimeters too wide to fit into the tray of the teleprompter, so I had to get another display that is a little bit smaller. But in the end, everything worked out, because the display that was a little bit too big for the teleprompter is now my streaming screen on which I'm working at this time. So everything is getting put to good use, but yeah, it was pretty complex to choose the right teleprompter and get a display that fits, and get the whole pole on which to mount it and things like that. And by buying everything from Elgato, I think you can short circuit everything. You get the display, it fits, it has the mirror that is required, and then I guess you'll get the either the webcam from Elgato themselves, or I think you can also mount your own camera as well if you already have one. So both is an option. Yeah, so far I can't think of a gadget or device from Elgato that I wouldn't recommend. I'm using the Stream Deck, and so I haven't used their other streaming stuff, their cameras and microphones, but they seem to be pretty decent as well. If you don't have too high of aspirations, then I guess you can't go wrong with Elgato. Or what do you think, Exegete? What's your opinion on the whole topic? So, the Talks website. I don't think I built. I'm sorry. I don't think I even made that a GitLab repository, did I? Well, yes, I did. But since I'm only interested in the JavaScript, I mean, I could actually even include that in the page itself. Let's copy it to my VM here first. So let's do it. Do I have access? Yeah, I guess I do. Passport access should work anyway. Project source, monospace, talks. Oof, what's the actual path here? Give me a second. It's in the assets subdirectory. Okay, here we go. All right. Talks from here. Assets. JavaScript. Teleprompter.js. We'll copy that here for the time being. Oh, and this even worked. Brilliant. So let's see. That's just a little bit of jQuery actually. We already include Alpine in our website, so maybe I can rewrite that using Alpine. Not really sure. Otherwise, I'll include jQuery in here as well. I took the shortest approach I knew. So let me see. How do we play this? Maybe let's first find out if Alpine is an option. Alpine.js. I haven't done much with Alpine.js so far. Which means that's always a learning experience too. Listening for simple events. I could add an event handler to the body element, I guess. For the, oh, here's listening for specific keys, so I could do that. Okay. Let's catch up with chat. Execution wrote for non-Elgato cameras, they have a 3D printing template for mounting whatever camera. Oh, that's neat. Surprisingly well thought out. Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is an expense. It's between 200 and 300, or more like 300 and 400 bucks. But choosing it for Zoom, if you have regular conversations in video calls, having a teleprompter does make things much more comfortable, because you're watching right into the lens and therefore into the eyes of the other person watching you. And that makes calls a lot more natural. It's a bit of a luxury But I guess if you've taken care of audio, let's put it this way, if you've taken care of audio by having a good microphone, so because audio is always the most important thing. If audio doesn't work, everything breaks down. So if you have already a decently enough microphone and you want to elevate your Zoom call quality a little bit more, then I guess a teleprompter does make sense. Even if you're only using it with a moderately priced webcam and you don't use a mirrorless camera or an SLR even. That is a little bit overboard if you're not, say, using that for streaming as well. But yeah, teleprompter is definitely something. If you are permanently working from home and having conference calls or even customer calls, it's definitely an upgrade and a sensible one. Okay, I can listen for key events. That's one thing. And then I need to be able to switch the auto scroll on and off. I'm actually not sure if I expect too much of Alpine, though. Alpine seems to be mostly to wire up stuff to specific page elements, to have menus pop up and stuff. Not sure if it's the right approach also in my case, where I want to switch on auto scroll and then be able to dial in the speed for my teleprompter. Maybe let's look at Alpine.js auto scroll, something like that. Alpine.js smooth scrolling slides. Let's take a look at that. Oh, nice. Okay. What does Alpine.js do here? We have this navigation controls. Where we return an object, dispatcher null, next, dispatches next and previous, and direction. And there's the slide container. Function slides container returns an array of slides where it collects all these sections in its init function. Okay, Okay. I need to take a look at the HTML actually. So there's the container. There's the div that has class navigation, navigation controls as data, and an init function that assigns dispatcher. There's the buttons where click is wired to next and previous. And there's the big div that contains these sections. Yep. And it has class slides for styling. The slides container as data. Okay. It has an init function. I guess we can use that. That looks nifty. And then update slide index.window, go to slide. Update slide index window. Go next slide dot window, next slide, go previous slide dot window, previous slide. And those are functions, next slide, previous slide, okay. And the dispatcher calls dispatch, and dispatch then calls go next or previous slide on the I see, yeah, where does the dispatcher get wired up? Here. sets dispatcher equals $dispatch. Where does that come from, though? Well, it has data navigation controls, which has this dispatcher reference. I think we can figure this out using Alpine. So the navigation control is position fixed. That's fixed to the bottom here. Okay. So I would probably initialize things on the body element, but we don't do the clicks. We need to get keyboard events, and then there's the actual main element containing my stuff, and we'll have to either switch on auto scroll, switch it off, and we'll have to increase or decrease the speed of the scrolling. All right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's try with try something simple. Okay, let's start with this simple thing here. Let's build that into our teleprompter layout. Just to see if Alpine even works. Let's take a look at the console here. Loading failed for script with source. Use Fathom. Okay, that's not a problem. But assets JavaScript teleprompter.js is more of a problem. Loading failed for the script with source. That was for 1000 assets JavaScript teleprompter.js. Because that's actually not here. Yes, it's not here. That's actually built into the layout, and that needs to go. Where is that? We have the asset path here. Here, down here. And we're actually loading jQuery in here, so, I could actually just load my JavaScript. But yeah, let's take another look. Let's reload this. So, yeah, this time it worked. Bridgetown teleprompter is loaded. jQuery, exactly. Yeah, I do find Alpine interesting as well. It's I like its approach to abstract things a little bit. Makes things much easier for someone like me who doesn't know a single line of JavaScript. Well, or still cobbles things together from stuff they grabbed from all over the place. So, okay, where is my count, actually? Can I get a count here? Where did that go? We have a span on here with an X text count. Maybe we'll add some text here. Oh, here we go. So Alpine does work. That's good. That's good. Because I was a little bit concerned because the way I included Alpine, that was left over from something else. I'm not even sure if I have active JavaScript anywhere on the website. So that was a leftover, and I was concerned that it wouldn't even work in the first place. But it does. Okay. Okay. I'm better than I'm giving myself credit. So that means we can actually do stuff. What do we do though? I guess we'll wire up a few key events. So let's see how that worked. That was in the events. Yep. So there's keyup.enter, keyup.shift.enter. We need to find out how the key codes work. But we could, for example, wire up, add key up, enter. And so what goes where the ellipses are? That's where we simply execute JavaScript. Okay, we could even do a console log. All right. Okay, let's do then a space input, add key up space, and then we'll do a console log. Something like that, right? Add key up dot space equals and then some JavaScript. Okay. Reload this page. I think this event actually gets caught by Vimium, so we'll have to exclude that. Space still gets caught. Let's use a different code then. Or maybe let's inspect how this is actually wired up. Body, yeah, that's still... That's still a Pine code. Does it work with enter? Let's take a look at the console then. Nope. Doesn't react to enter. Oh, listening for events on window. Because of the nature of events in the browser, it is sometimes useful to listen to events on the top-level window object. This allows you to communicate across components completely like... Okay, so in this case... we'll have an X data. Now, because in our second component we are listening for foo on the window. Is that then key up dot window? Let's give that a try. And maybe let's try and get space back. Nope. doesn't work with space. We don't get any errors either, but let's try with enter, just to be sure that it's not the particular event here. That's the enter.window, yep. Don't you need a data prefix on that attribute? Maybe? Oh, you mean that needs to be surrounded by an X data? Could be. It's not mentioned on here, and the start here example. Well, it said it initialized the data. It needed X data to initialize this count. So you have actually data that you can work with. But at the moment, I just want to react on stuff. There's a button where they use X on click. Oops, no, didn't want to go there. Let's see, events. X on click. As an alternative, you can use the event shorthand syntax if you prefer at. That's then simply at click instead of X on colon click. So let's use that. At key up. Dot enter. Here they dispatch custom events at click, then calls at dispatch on foo, and then before that they've defined a foo event handler that then does the logging. And I guess I need to do this window events thing. That one is actually wrapped in an xdata div. Even though there's not much data there. Well, here we also have the arrows. We need to have the arrows. Maybe I just use dot up right away, because that's what I want anyway. When the .window modifier is present, Alpine will register the event listener on the root window object on the page instead of the element itself. That does make sense. Oh, so it's not actually wired to the div then, but to the window. All right. So let's do keyup.up.window and see what happens. Keyup.up.window. Up arrow pressed. And I guess we can get rid of the jQuery if we are going to do this with Alpine. Okay. Now. Nothing logged in this window though. Oh, let's do this not on body but on main. Maybe that does make a difference. No, doesn't look like it. I need to familiarize myself with that stuff more, so let's do a few experiments here. There's a small button behind my face here. How is that button so small? Oh, it didn't have any text in there. Let me actually pull this down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So there's the test button, where I actually have wired up a console log, but even that doesn't happen. So maybe it's not my key event handler, it's the console log that doesn't work. Does stuff get filtered in here? Do I have to switch to debug? I'm afraid my console might not show me my stuff here. The bridge down teleprompter is loaded. That's a console log that works. Wait, if I do console log in here, console.log test, that works. But clicking that button doesn't. Oh, see, I need an X data. Let's do the cursor up. No. Exegete, you might have been right all along. Yep. Here we get... Now we get the... events. Okay, brilliant. So, we could try and wire up space. And, let's reload this. And if I press space, then we'll start scrolling, and we need to... can't yet wire up the auto scroll, can I? Well, I need to find out how to do stuff on the document. But yeah, okay, so we have the space thingy. Now. There are a few functions here. I guess we'll define them in our JS file. I'll copy this just to have a starting point. So that goes into my teleprompter.js here. Since these are only functions, that shouldn't do anything here. Space press does get caught. And now I need to take a look at what my own teleprompter stuff actually does. Is it down here? Yes. So these are all the keyboard handlers. Yeah, we need to make those functions as well. And the most important thing here is set interval, window scroll by, speed. Okay. So I guess we'll wire this up to the slides container function. We'll call it scroll container. And I guess we'll need a function start scroll. I assume we can get rid of the rest here. And how does this get wired up in this scroll thing, that happens by simply assigning that X data slides container. I guess that returns an object. Slides container is that function here. And that returns an object with this slides attribute and the init function and stuff. Okay. So we'll do that X data equals scroll container. Oh, wait, I need to reload my new Vim. Had a few plugins replaced. Let's go back here. JavaScript teleprompter. And in source, layouts teleprompter. And we'll do scroll container. We'll add that to start scroll. And if I read this correctly, okay, we call dispatcher, which calls go next slide. Wait, what? Go next slide. That's an event. And that's wired up here, right? Go next slide dot window. And then it calls next slide on its own data on the slides container. The slides container has a next slide function. So we can actually say, we can wire up that directly. Yeah, we should be able to wire that up directly. So I can actually say that's start scrolling, I would say. Start scrolling. And that's exactly what we'll call start scrolling if we press space. Slowly we'll get there. So if I press space, I'll still get the space pressed, but that's now coming from the object, which means we can now control our code a little bit easier. So, to start scrolling, we call this setInterval function. Not sure if that is pure JavaScript or is that built into jQuery? We'll see. The other one. this one. Okay, so that's built into the window object. And we'll have to replace speed here, or actually speed should be an attribute inside this object. Starting at 0. Well, let's set it to 1. Just for starters. Not sure if we have to prefix that with window, but we'll see. Oops. So let's reload this. And if I press space, there's no error. It logs space pressed, but nothing happens. Okay. How does this demo code work with like scrolling and stuff? It says next slide, scroll into view. So I guess, do we have a window object on which we can call stuff? There's $root. Okay, that's the... Oh, Alpine does have a pro version, doesn't it? Okay. Let's see if I can find something under events that gives me a hint. Let's see, Alpine JS window. Alpine toolbox. Alpine.js examples. These things are all quite interesting. scroll indicator, a vertical scroll indicator showing page progress. That might have to interact with the window. Most of these are page components, and I'm not too interested in those. Maybe that's not the right place to look. Let's do some trial and error, and I'll... Wait, I did already? Huh. Maybe that will work. Let's see. Or it'll trigger an error. No errors. Maybe I should search for something more specific, such as Alpine Jazz set interval. Now, let's see. Maybe I can increase my font size in my settings, huh? Settings. Home. I like general. Language and appearance. Fonts. Let's do 20. Sure. Let's see how this works. Okay, so what do they do here? They call window set interval, and then a function, and then what is supposed to happen. Maybe it's a syntactical thing then. Oh yes, so we can make this shorter and say use this, and there's a window scroll by 0 dot speed. Speed is 1. Scroll by 1 every 33 milliseconds. Yeah, that looks more like it. Let's see how that works. If I press space, there's no scrolling. So, first of all, let's do the console. Let's do the console output here, so I can actually tell that we passed that. Wait, it says space pressed. We're not even calling this function. Why does it say space pressed? We're loading something outdated. I guess I need to restart Bridgetown. Oh, there's an... there are errors. That's why I'm loading old stuff. It says JavaScript syntax error. Expected, but found semicolon. Okay, my basics are still not good enough. Ah, that needs to be a comma, and then all these functions also. Okay. Oh, that's syntax that's completely foreign to me. Okay. Fine. Start scrolling should still work, but that here, that looks... Okay, here's the init thing. Start scrolling. Yep, the commas are in there. All right. So that seems to have loaded too, but there was an error up here. Or was there? Let's restart that. No, that's... Nope, there's still... Oh, that needs to be a colon, right? Yeah. Because it's not really code, it's more of an associative array. Yeah, that's something that I also need to find out why that is the case. I'm lacking a lot of background here. Let's try and bundle that again. Still wrong. But far later in this file. Unexpected end of file, actually. Okay. Something is still missing. Yes. That's... What's this one here? And now, let's reload this. Press, uncaught reference error. Scroll container is not defined. Alpine expression error. There is a function, scroll container, that we've defined here, but I'm not sure if we've included it correctly. So let's go back to our example here. That's the JavaScript with these functions. And here's the function slides container that returns stuff, and that's assigned to X data here. Did we do it correctly though? Yes, we did. X data scroll container. Actually don't need this yet. Nope, we don't need this. Semicolons here. Let's not start going. That did load. Okay, now we're getting these reference errors. Scroll container is not defined. We could define it inside this file, if that makes more sense. It does make more sense, actually. I wanted to make it make it as elegant as possible, but in the end, that's not even a snippet, okay. Wait, what happened? What did I copy here? So if I do it this way, we don't get an error. If I press space, there's still the reference error. Speed is not defined. Okay, getting better. So it did execute the function. It even says started scrolling, but then it complains that speed isn't defined. Okay, that is something we can work with. I guess we need this speed. Now we're getting somewhere. But I don't want to pour all this JavaScript into this HTML file. Now, it works now, that's nice. But that's just not how I'm